Alright guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that I posted the other day. So this is the setup that you're going to need to actually do the trick. So if you haven't, go ahead and watch the performance and then come back. And then also you're going to want to pause the video and get these cards out. This is the setup you're going to need. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second and then you guys go get these cards. Alright, so now I'm assuming that you pause the video, you got your setup here, and then you're ready to go. So this tutorial might get kind of lengthy, so I'm not gonna go into too many details for the the slights, because I'm assuming that you guys already know most of them. Plus, I'm gonna leave links in my on the screen so you guys can check those out if you need it. So you want to take this packet over here, and by the way, at the end of the trick, if you saw the performance at the end, you kind of end up with like a royal flush, and you can do that in any suit that you want. In this case, if you want to do the diamonds, you can just replace all the cards in the spades. Just replace those with diamonds, okay? So you have the setup here. You're going to want to take the 6-card packet, okay, with the jack of spades, queen, king, and ace. You want to stick that on top of the deck. That's the six cards. You stick that on, and then you take the other 3, and you place that on top. So to start off the trick, you can just do a quick false cut. I just do the swivel cut just because it's nice, simple, and the spectators, it isn't really too suspicious. So if you want a link for that, that's on the screen, and then you can do a little false cut, and then you're going to swing cut half the deck over and catch a break, because you're going to do a riffle force, okay? So from here, you tell the spectators, alright, so just, I kind of mixed up the deck, and now I want you to pick some cards. So go ahead, tell me when to stop, I'll riffle down, so then you can riffle down the side of the deck. Wherever they say stop, you just pick it up from the break, put it on top, pretty standard riffle force. So you do your little your riffle force, and you can tell the spectators, okay, so you stop me anywhere you like, you stop me here, and let's go ahead and lay you down 3 cards. Okay, so you stop me anywhere you like, and here are the 3 cards that you happen to stop me. And now from this point, you're going to tell the spectators, you're going to say, okay, well, since now that you have 3 cards, I also want 3 cards. And now from this point, you're going to have to steal off 6 cards. Okay, now in the performance, I didn't do the best job of it, but you want to take off 6 cards, but kind of make it look like it's 3. So what I recommend doing is when you say, okay, now I'm going to take 3 cards, you kind of just spread over the top card, just kind of casually, look at them for a second, and then look at where the 6th card is. So in this case, it's right here. So you want to get a break underneath that card. So you casually spread the cards, you say, okay, so I also want 6 cards, and you get a break right underneath that 6th card, square up the deck a little bit, okay? You kind of just square it up. You say, okay, so I'll take my 3 cards, and then you take it from the break of 6 cards, okay? So that's going to be kind of difficult to do. Obviously, in the performance, I didn't do the best job of it, but, you kind of want to get away with it. So another thing you're going to have to worry about is the thickness of the cards. This is way thicker. This is literally double the amount of cards that you said you had. So you want to keep the edges downward like this, so they can't see the front of it, and your thumb and your fingers over here should do pretty well. So keep it angled downward so they cannot see the thickness. Now, from this point, you can say, okay, so let's go ahead and look at your first selection. So obviously, you already know this is an ace, so you flip it over and you say, wow, look, you picked an ace. Pretty good selection, but I think my 3 cards happen to be a little bit better. So what you do is you just flip over the packet, and now what you're going to do is an Elmsley count with 7 cards. So you're gonna kind of have to be kind of good with this. So I would recommend you practice this. I have a tutorial for it. I'm not going to go over it. It'll take way too long. So go ahead and click the link on the screen if you want to, and let's get into it. So the first thing you do is you do your Elmsley count. So you say, look, it happens to be that my 3 cards happen to be, and you count off the first card, the second card, third card, and obviously, you just repeat that. This is the other card, and you take the card out and you flip it over, and you say, look, so I have the 4 aces in my hand, and if you're doing that fast enough and you're just kind of misdirecting them, they're not going to really notice that there's a missing ace. Normal spectators aren't going to notice that, okay? So from this point, you can flip the deck over or flip the packet over and say, look, I'll show you one more time. Okay, so I forget the name of this move. What you're going to do is, now this is going to take some time to explain it, but what you're going to do is you're going to hold the cards in middle grip with your thumb at the bottom, your middle, and your ring up top. So you might have to rewind this, but basically you're going to take your index and your thumb, and you're going to use your thumb to slide over the top card right here, and your index to slide over the bottom card like that. Okay, so you're going to have to rewind this if you need to, And now at the bottom, you're just going to take your middle and peel off the next card down, which is that Ace of Hearts. You're going to have to peel that card off too, just like that. So now you have 3 cards showing, and now this card at the bottom, you don't want to flash that bottom card. This hand should do a great job of covering up that card, because that card here is actually a Jack. So your hand should be able to cover that. And now when you come back, when you're in this position, if you're a righty, this is what's going to happen to you. This is going to be a block of cards, actually. So this ace is going to be a block of cards. You'll see what I mean if you're following along. So you say, look, so you saw the 4 aces, and I'll count them off to you. You say 1, so now you count off the block of cards first as 1. So you say 1, and then you take the top card here, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So you might have to rewind it, but that is what you're going to have to do to get into the next part of the trick. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually flip over this top card and say, look, so here's the card that you chose. You briefly flip it over to show it to him, and as you're showing it, you actually push off the next card, catch a break, and you say, look, so here's the Ace of Clubs that you chose, and then you take it from the break, just like this, and say, well, we're not going to need this for the rest of the trick. Okay, so you take it from the break, stealing one of those other aces, place it on top of the deck, flip it over, and you move right on to the next part of the trick. So before you pick up this card, you're going to want to do this. You have to tell the spectators, okay, so look, I really do have 3 cards in my hand, so you spread over one. You have the cards in middle grip. I already showed you that. And you're going to peel off the first card and say, look, 1, 2, drop the rest on top. And you say 3. Okay, so you have to do that in order to put the cards for the next Elms account. So the next thing you do is say, okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at your second selection, which actually happens to be a Jack. You know, that's pretty good, but in my hand, I only have the 3 aces, and then you can tell the spectators, but look what happens if I just shake the pack a little bit. You know, you can do whatever magical gesture you want, flip it over, and now you do your second Elms account. But this one's going to be a little bit easier because it's less cards. So you peel off, you say, look, so I actually happen to have now the 1, 2, 3, 4 Jacks. Okay, so you just show the spectator your Elms account, you flip that face down card back up, and you say, look, here's your selection. I'll show you one more time. You flip the whole packet over, and then you do that move. I always forget the name of it, but you're going to put the cards in middle grip. You're going to take your thumb, peel over the top card, your index, peel over the bottom. Your middle is going to drag onto that next card, just like that, okay? Now obviously it's faster in real time, but you're going to want to flip those cards over again. You're going to reveal to them, look, so I have 4 Jacks. You just briefly show to them in this bottom hand. This hand here is going to be concealing another card, that Queen. And again, you do the same thing. You take the block of cards, you count this off as 1, 2, 3, 4 Jacks, and then what you're going to do is the same move as before. You're going to push over this Jack, show it to them, and say, look, so here was your selection, but we don't need it anymore. So you push over that next top card, push it back on top, and say, okay, so I'll just leave this on top of the deck. You flip it over, and now you've gotten rid of all the cards except for the ones that you need. So you tell the spectators, okay, so I'm left with these 3 cards, and then from here you tell the spectators, but I'm sure I can guess what this card is. So what you do is you say, look, so if I shake the packet one more time, it actually turns in to 4 cards, and you can just spread it out to them so they can see. Now at this point, you're left with these 4 cards. So what you're going to do is you're not going to take the top card first. You're actually going to take the bottom card right here, which is the Jack. So you have the cards in this 4 position, or you have these 4 cards, and you say, look, but I'm going to have to guess what your card is, but I'll have these cards help me out. So you say, look, so you peel off the bottom card first. So you tell spectators, okay, so I have the Jack of Spades, and then you go from the top. I have the Queen of Spades, the King, and the Ace, which leads me to believe that your card should be the 10 of Spades in order to make a royal flush. And you show it to the spectators, and it's a really, really great ending to this awesome trick. So, you know, I really hope you guys like it. I hope you guys were able to stick with it. Rewind it if you need to, and leave me feedback in the comments. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.